Alright, let's take a look at the menu explanation on the 45/77 English page. First, here we display our username, which currently shows administrator. Here we have the start button, select information, and also information adjustment. To start, after we've installed the ribbon, we click this button to begin. Selecting information means choosing from the information we already have. After selecting a piece of information, you'll see options here for output, send, and print. Just choose the one you need. Adjustment. Here we have adjustment options. The first adjustment is for changing the print position. For example, if we want to change the print position below, let's set it to 10 and confirm. The button position will move accordingly. If we set it back to 0, which is the default value, it will return to its original position. The second adjustment is for information offset. Now, our position is here, and if we change it to 10, alright, confirm, and now it's centered, it's in the middle. This is the position of the information. Here, we can decrease it as well. Next is print grayscale, printing in grayscale. Darkness here refers to grayscale. Right now it's set to the maximum, which is 100, but you can reduce it. Alright, we can also see the color here. It's changing. It's not as clear as when the steel wire was cleaned before. You can enter the value directly, and you can also input the maximum, which is 120. The maximum is 120. This is the rotation angle of the information, 0 degrees, 270 degrees. 180 degrees, 90 degrees. Hold on, this is an adjustment within the settings. Adjusting the parameters. Below is the shutdown button. Click OK to confirm and it will shut down. Over here we have the ribbon usage. This is the ribbon usage. 95% remaining, which can print 5,681 pieces of information. This refers to this particular message. Here it can directly display the remaining percentage. Over here is the printing technology. Alright, at this point, there's a date here. The date is part of the entire information. Content name, and information content. That's all there is on the main interface. Let's take a look at the menu. Here you can select a profile, choose a user. We have 3 users, currently all personnel, administrators, and so on. Whichever one I select, the permissions will be different for each user. Right now, we're using the administrator account. The second option is data management. With data management, you can use a USB drive to transfer parameter data from our machine to an external device, or you can import data from an external USB drive into our machine. There is this information. Within the information section, you can choose to import data from a USB drive into this machine, or you can transfer information from the machine to a USB drive or delete local information from the machine. That's how it works. The calendar works the same way. You can import or export the calendar via USB. The same goes for fonts. You can import external fonts or export the machine's built-in fonts to an external device, just like with images. It's the same for languages. If the language you need isn't available on the machine, you can import it from an external source using a USB drive. You can also export the machine's built-in languages to a USB drive. Alright, let's take another look. Tear it off. In the data, we have jobs, system information, counters, and so on. There are also statistics for the print head, production line, and machine, etc. So, as you can see, we currently have these 4 jobs with their respective job names. Actually, there are just 2 jobs, 112 and 32, and that's it. System information. In the system information, for example, we have our machine, the type of our machine. There are both intermittent and continuous types, right? Currently, this one is the intermittent type. What lock? Mobile 53, field printing, width 53. Yes, let's think about it. Software version, controller software version, 26V, 2.02, 6.0 software version. There's more here, and below there's S31. Mainboard model, hardware model, X3 quotation marks. Hello, child. This is what you can see in the system, News, thank you. Remember, there are records here, remember? So are there any records of defective printing or abnormal prints that failed quality checks? Yes, you can see fault information and other issues here. And also, how many normal prints have been completed in total. Then there's also the total number of scan errors and total scan faults. It records the statistics of faults. There are consumables. Over here, you can see how many times we've printed, 26 times. The print head's lifespan is 100. Because this is a new machine, its lifespan is 100. The aging rate is 0, so there's no aging information yet, right? Coding machine. Coding machine. Here you can see the installation of the print head and the installation completes. The number of print head installations is 1 and the print head lifespan is 100. Total number of print cycles. 3 sweeps. So how long has our elevator been running? Has it stopped and not been operating? Also, how long has this coding machine been running? There's no record because it hasn't started running yet. Also, in the statistics section, there's production data. Take a look. There's an instantaneous and average packaging rate. Since the machine hasn't been started and there's no printing, everything shows as 0. These are the maximum average packaging speed, maximum printing speed, and average printing speed. I'm not sure what this means actually. Because it hasn't actually been started, everything is inactive, but here we can see the actual printing status. It can be used by me. There's 97.3% availability, so yes, it can be used. Got it, its lifespan. As of today, there's still 97.4% of its lifespan remaining. There's still 95% of its lifespan left, so that's quite a lot. It can be used continuously for 71 days at this rate. We mark this print chart separately. And over here, what about this electronic one? The standard ink for the single eye chart layer and the serial number for the single eye chart. There are 53 print charts. When was the manufacturing date? What is its resistance? The resistance is 1060, and this type automatically reads when switching gears. So the initial coding date, wait, I'll get to that later. Yes, the date when it can be coded, and finally the actual coding date. There's a print head here. Printing technology. The printing technology uses 16 color ribbons for printing. How many pencils have been used? None yet. For thermal printing, how many pencils are used? Hold it at 100 and set the grayscale to 100. The maximum is also 100. The printing speed is 220 millimeters per second. 220 millimeters per second. Isn't it true that the maximum and minimum are both 220 millimeters? The minimum ribbon width, because I usually print 53, so the ribbon needs to be 55. Also, our micro temperature is 30 degrees and the highest temperature is 32 degrees, which is the measured temperature. Now you're measuring 30 degrees and the highest measured is 32 degrees. Print this out after. Expected lifespan greatly reduced. Is the print head's average lifespan still 100? Of course, the failure rate is 0 because it's brand new. How many print head diagrams have been replaced? None. Haven't replaced or changed any. Check history for print head replacement records. None exist. If you promise to do it well, then do it well. No print head replacement. All right, let's take another look. Settings. In the settings, there's a gamma machine. Jiangguangji, there's a machine set up here. The memory is for this device. Does the device have a ribbon alert? If the device needs a ribbon, the prompt is yes, and the database selection is okay. Also, the packaging speed cycle is 1. As for the power saving timer, do we need to turn on power saving? This is the off switch. If you select 2 minutes, the screen will turn off after 2 minutes. If you select 10 minutes, it will turn off after 10 minutes. You can set the screen timeout to the time you want or turn it off completely. Here we can also see numbers 2 and 3. Production line aircraft monitor, production line aircraft analysis monitor. This option is currently off, but we can turn it on. It is currently disabled. Inside the device, let's also take a look at the warnings. Here, you can see all the steps where issues have occurred, such as faults, cleaning the print head, clock problems, and so on. You can choose whether or not to enable these warnings. Right now, if you want to receive a warning, just select yes. For example, if a major printhead cleaning is needed, it will give you a prompt. Selecting no means no prompt, while yes means it will prompt you. If there's a clock issue and you don't want a prompt, or if the BMW 7 command fails, you can choose not to be notified. For all these different fault codes, if you don't want to be alerted, just leave them as no. If you want to be notified, simply change it to yes. Let's do this right here. Take a look. The first image in the panel. By default, when jobs are processed together, the image refreshes every minute. This is a setting for the image. Bowling characteristics, there's no print speed. The print speed is 225 per second. The return speed is 600 per second, 600 meters. Return refers to the speed, specifically the print head return speed. Color saving mode is currently set to no color saving. Here we can choose. You can select alternate modes, make sure to use mode 2, alternate as much as possible, and so on. Everyone can choose as needed. For printing, specifically printing this sheet, we can see its print grayscale here. You can also change it. Right now it's set to 100, but you can adjust it anywhere between 80 and 120. Print darkness adjustment. Contrast. Actually, the contrast can also be adjusted between 60 and 99. The extension time for directors and print diagrams, measured in milliseconds, is currently 35 milliseconds, but can be changed to any value between 1 and 100. The time for the print head to retract is 5 milliseconds, the retraction time. This can be changed. Over here, there's a cleaning function. The well drilling company is in technology, right? Is that what you mean? Here, you can set it from 0 to 999. Oh dear, there are some things going on here today. Alright, this is the print quality. Which positions? You can see that the preset S0 can be modified. Right now, our printing position is at the original starting point, which is 0. Let's look at this. Then our axis will change, and so will the position of the guide head, the position of the print head. Offset. This is the offset information. The offset information determines where the information is printed on the product, and you can change the offset here. It's rotation and angle information. Rotation and angle can all be modified here. Adjustments are made right here. Of course, its position. This is the information offset. It is recommended to make it cheaper. This is the print grayscale setting. This is the angle adjustment, angle. Okay. So let me take another look at the original one. Oh, that's all for this part. Let's move on to the next part. Go to the settings. Here, you can select the color type. There are many options you can choose from here. Over here, you have the ribbon width and color. For black, you can choose deep black. When you select the model, the ribbon color is already fixed. This is the color forward offset, set to 0.5. You can change this value. Try testing these 4 points. These are also default settings. Color monitoring fundamentally means that if there's a significant break detected during the operational process, it will definitely and immediately trigger an alarm. Furthermore, it also meticulously checks for insufficient color. If the color is noticeably lacking or deficient, it will promptly give a clear warning. If the size is different, if the color size is inconsistent, it will also give a warning. If it's too small, it will also alert me. There's also a color deficiency operation, which issues a warning. Color monitoring is over here this time. On the interface, you can set the date and time. For the date format, you can choose whichever format you prefer. And there's also the time. You can choose between a 12-hour or 24-hour time format, whichever you prefer. Humidifier. Display interface. If you don't select wide blue, Ulan, will it display quickly? Will it show up quickly? If it displays no, it won't show. If it displays yes, it will show. This can be changed, and then there's screen calibration. For the screen, we have this screen calibration function. Right, just like Apple. Failed, no calibration. Okay, that's it. Success. The system will restart. All right, calibrate the screen. Display time. Now I'm configuring the information panel. Information panel, information director. Now the director's headquarters. Week 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4. There are 4 basic ones, and here we can see 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 basics. Draw these 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that means it's displayed on our main page in the lower right corner here. Let's take a look at the one below. Brightness adjustment. Here we can adjust the brightness. We can change the brightness. You can increase it, adjust the brightness. Reminder behavior is currently set to pop up. It will remind you by popping up the main interface. If there's a fault, a red fault will pop up and a yellow warning will also pop up. If turned off, only when there's a red fault will this interface pop up directly, bringing up our interface. As for the time, we can set the date directly here, set the date and time in this section. Go to the center line. This is for assigning user permissions. There are general users, administrators, and operators. We can manage the currently logged in administrator, and we can grant permissions as needed. In the edit section, we can set a password and configure permissions for the user. We can also modify their permissions. As for language, this part is for selecting the language interface of the machine. All right, over here. In the job section, there are labels for date and time, 401 date and time labels, and device identification like an RD. I am a full line RD. Time and date. Date and time, for example, if there is an offset, this offset is combined with the actual time. Date rollover hour, date rollover minute, date rollover direction, and so on. There are also BBE development angle modes, etc. This is the date offset for development. You can also customize the jetting. We can manually input the week number or which week it is as needed. Slayer. Maintenance. In maintenance, there is a diagnostics section. Even without external variables, the ribbon system is internal. For a variable, we can see its input and its status. Disabled means it's off, active means it's on. Right now, we only have a status for when it's turned on twice. Status, Because for other things like warning outputs, for example, the alarm light, we don't have an output for it. It's just an external variable that's disabled. So that there's also remaining print data, which refers to the thickness of the color ribbon. This is the unwind roll diameter, the rewind roll diameter, and the new ribbon diameter. Color ribbon. Then in the system, there's the controller temperature, the printer temperature, and the printer's oil temperature. There's also the total memory, available memory, print density, and the current temperature. There's also the imaging time. Here, the image update time is 10 milliseconds. The print time and position haven't been printed yet, and there's no print cycle time either. Sissy thing. I'll take a look. Here you can see the date and time in advance, which username was used to make changes to this machine, and what changes were made. You can also see what alarms this machine has reported, whether there are any alarms, and the details of those alarms. All of this can be viewed here. Yes, if there are any alarms or failures, everyone can see what alarms have been reported. The video is manually controlled. I have manual control here with the system. Yes, I instruct people. We've always been teaching people. Just click roughly from the original position. Start from the original position. Switch to the printhead, extend the Suhui printhead. But there's nothing we can do about it. Why? Because it's just the way it is. It's in progress. Take a look. Manual operation can be triggered normally. Manual can be triggered. Here you can have an image. If we click start, it will print and there will be an image. Based on the image, we can see something. Here you can see things like the minimum printing scale, the printing scale, compensation, printing trigger signals, and so on. Look, we can't see it right now. If we click start, it doesn't print, so we can't see it. We can't. Here you can choose to print a test pattern, and you can also select the hard drive. Okay. Then let's take a look at the help section, specifically the setup wizard. When we install for the first time, we can use the installation wizard to select the installation options. Oh, the first step is the basic settings. So in the basic settings, there are a total of 6 steps. The first is to select the language, choose the language. The second is the screensaver time, and so on, proceeding step by step. The third step is rotation. How many degrees to rotate? If we need to set the rotation angle, here is where we do it. I'm using the 4th generation model, and you can change it here. Then every time we install a ribbon, we need to select the type of ribbon we're using, right? If we only use one type of ribbon, we just select no. But if we change the ribbon each time and the properties or materials are different, then we select yes to change it here. The final step is to set our IP address. After setting everything, click OK on the screen. That's the basic setup. Install offline items, synchronization, and print signals. This is to check whether ventilation is installed. Of course, we haven't installed the synchronizer yet, so if you do install the synchronizer, just proceed to the next step. Since I haven't installed it, I can't continue to the next step. And flushing. There's also a heavy-duty one. That means we need to turn off the machine and clean the printhead. If we're not cleaning it, then we don't need to do anything. Alright, this is a brief explanation of a menu on the 550 English interface.